asylum seekers and these refugees. And it's also for the homeless. So on Tuesday, we're having a very large rally. It's not a protest, it's a rally. All of the community get together. We want to make sure you have a fulsome understanding of exactly what's happening and when it's possibly happening. We will have all levels of government speaking, and I would really, really appreciate it if you can all come and continue to support our community. Wilson has been absolutely amazing, so please come support Wilson, support your business improvement area, support Councillor Hill, support MPP Lisa, MP Chandra Ria, who I spoke with this morning, who will not be able to be there, but he's given us a wonderful speech, and we just really need your support. So what I'm asking is the same thing that Lisa asked yesterday. Please bring a minimum of 2 people. This is our opportunity. We can't stand here and complain about not having been communicated to and not getting information if we're not going to make ourselves available to receive that information. So please, I know it's a little bit inconvenient. Come here from 4 to 6. We'll have a great community barbecue or get together. Not barbecue, Charles, I'm sorry. We'll have a wonderful get together, and then we can all go home, make the popcorn, and watch the craziness in the United States. Right? So thank you very much. Wilson, can you please say a few words?
Yeah, thank you again for coming out. I can't reiterate my thanks for your support and all the honking you've heard going up and down Greenbank. I know I keep mentioning the honking, but that means the community is supporting you. That means the community is supporting us, and that means this is not an issue that's unique to us. Everyone in Barrhaven cares about this. Not everyone, unfortunately, in Barrhaven knows about this. So we need to make sure people, your neighbors, your friends, your family here in Barrhaven know about this. Come out to Tuesday, and come out to an information session that David Hill and I are also doing on Thursday. That's virtual, but we got to get the best possible outcome for us and for the asylum seekers that want to call Canada home, even if it's temporary. So thank you again, and I can't express my gratitude enough.
Thank you, everyone. See you on Tuesday. Thank you.
His name is Jason McDonald, and I want you to do me a favor. When Jason gets up here, because of all the work he's been doing, I want a really loud and very warm congratulations to Jason for bringing all these people here together, including the coalition called Brass. Jason?
That's a lot to live up to say the least. Yeah. I can't thank you all enough for coming. This right here, it defines Barrhaven. Take a look around. These are your neighbors. These are your colleagues. These are your babysitters, your daycare providers, your businesses, the people you pass in the grocery store. Do they look one way? No, they don't. We're not all different nationalities. We're Barrhavenites. And I cannot thank you all enough for coming. This has got absolutely nothing. We welcome all viewpoints here. So everybody is welcome. This is not a protest. This is a rally. This is for all of us to get together and have an open discussion about our concerns and more information about what's going on. So this is not about people. This is not about asylum seekers. This is not about refugees. This is about the structure, the location, and our ability to serve them. So I want to make sure that we're sticking to those points. It's not about the people. And although they've tried to paint us that way, well, specifically me, especially CTV and CBC this morning, this isn't what it's about. It's about community. We are already struggling with our infrastructure. Anybody have any issues with transit this morning? Thank you very much. Anybody seen an increase in crime? Yeah. Anybody try to get into the clinic to get checked for a cold or anything? Yeah. We're having challenges, and those challenges need to be addressed first, and we would be more than willing and more than welcoming to anybody that wants to join our amazing community. The community has never been more united. We have a Liberal MP, we have a Conservative MPP, and we've got these two great fellas over here that have been fighting since July for us as well too. So I'll just quickly read what Chandra sent for us all to hear. He says, I regret I'm not able to attend this rally in person. As I stated in Parliament, to house asylum claimants, the City of Ottawa's proposed Sprung structure is wrong, and the locations are far away, at about 20 to 25 kilometers from other support systems that they will badly need for the asylum seekers. We have to treat people with dignity, and hurting them as proposed in the City of Ottawa's solution is not the right way. Hence, I firmly oppose the City of Ottawa proposal to install a Sprung structure in Barrhaven. The City of Ottawa should use federal funds in a more productive way, like upscaling existing buildings that provide actual homes. Security, privacy, and dignity. There is a significant decrease in the number of asylum seekers, as we all know from the information from the federal government. Using funds to create a more livable place today means they're available as affordable housing tomorrow. I didn't want to read this part, but they're all making me. I thank the dynamic chair of the Barrhaven BIA for delivering this message on my behalf. So, to start this off, I'm going to ask Councillor David Hill to come up and say a few words. David, if you don't mind.
Yes. Thanks, Jason. Well, if the point is for us to be heard, we're being heard, okay? So to the folks that came out over the weekend, to the folks that have emailed me, to City Hall, your voice is being heard, so understand that. Know as well that we're representing your voice as best we can. And we have from the time that we initially got the updates to say that potentially there could be large industrial tents being used to house folks here in Barrhaven. We represented that in the first committee meeting that we got to in June. We represented it again in July. I want to talk a little bit about the process that got us here, but I don't have time to go into it. You probably don't want to hear about how boring city reports happen, but that meeting is going to happen on the 7th of November, okay? So me and Wilson, we're going to have a virtual meeting where we're going to talk through some of the technical baseline stuff that got us to this point. If you're interested in that, it's in my newsletters, it's on my website. There's some pamphlets going out about that. We'll have more detail at that time. This came from a place of good intentions, okay? The city staff have a really hard problem to try to address. We have a significant shortage of housing, and this year's been a significant increase in asylum seekers. It's a really wicked problem for city staff to try to address. We do not agree. Wilson and I have been advocating since the beginning, this is not the right way to address the issue. We want people treated with dignity, we want people treated with respect, and we're concerned about expanding the communal shelter system, especially to do it in a tent, in a winter city, okay? So that's been our position from the beginning. We've been working hard with our nonprofit leaders in the community, with our faith leaders in the community, with other councillors, with city staff, to try to inform them of a better way to go forward, and we've given them solutions. We've talked about options for scaling up some of the programs that are already in existence. For example, the City of Ottawa, including Barrhaven, this is not a new issue. We've been dealing with asylum seekers for decades. I had coffee this morning with Matthew Fleury, the former city councillor downtown. We talked a bit about this. He told me about his in-laws who came to Ottawa in '79 from Vietnam and were supported through Marion Dewar in the process. And you know what they're doing in the community now? They're business leaders. There are better ways to go about doing this. That's what we're advocating for. We've talked to city staff over the summer, and I know that there's a lot of people that are frustrated that they don't have good information on what's happening right now. A part of that is our fault, because we said we don't like the report as it was originally written for council. That's why we voted against it. We lost that vote though. So the best that we can do now is to influence staff to come up with a better option. We've worked hard to try to give the points to get a better option, and we are going to see how that's been listened to in the report that we're expecting to come out in a few days' time. We've been waiting for this. We want to see it, and I know there's a lot of people here frustrated that they don't know what's going on. I've done the best I can. I know Wilson's been doing the best he can to update people in the newsletters, talking to media, explaining what's going on. But the truth of the matter is, this is not a done deal yet. We have advocated to get information on where are other potential sites. What is the criteria that you've used to select those sites? What is the criteria you've used to come up with this built form and this concept as opposed to other options? We will see how that's been fruitful when we get that report. And at that time, if the report still says something we don't agree with, we will continue to advocate on your point, on your behalf in order to get to a better outcome. It was mentioned previously, we've got a whole lot of people that do good work in this community. We got multi-faith housing, we got Steepleview, we've got Matthew House out here. We've got a lot of organizations out here that already do this type of work. We just need to scale them up. That's what we're arguing. We're trying to get a better outcome. So if you're interested in more information, Wilson and I are going to host an information session. It's going to be a bit more technical. It's going to be on Thursday, 7 o'clock. If you're interested, you can find that information on my website and such. And I will give it to, I think, Wilson? Wilson next? Go back to Jason.
Thank you, Councillor Hill, for your update. And please deliver a message back to city staff. Barrhaven's opinion and our voice matters. So Barrhaven will be deciding how this works at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is as we're introducing speakers and whatnot, I'm going to intermix it with some questions and also with some statements that we've taken from the petition. So one of the questions that we have is why is the mayor and staff not responding to public questions? Okay. When will the list of all locations be released, and what is the list? So right now I'm going to ask Sandy to come and speak. Sandy is from another amazing group, community group that was created in support of this, called the Brass Group, Barrhaven Residents Against Sprung Shelters. So I'll ask Sandy. Sandy, where are you? Sandy! Sandy! Calling Sandy. So let me say a little something about Sandy. Sandy has been busting her backside to inform the community, to inform her community, and to assist all the other neighborhood groups that have been trying to rally together. All of this while fighting stage 3 cancer and going through radiation treatment. So can we all have a big cheer for Sandy, please? Thank you very much. So I'll go to some quotes from the petition. Barrhaven already does not have the infrastructure to support its current residents, nor the available health care. I strongly oppose Barrhaven as the selected city for the asylum seekers. Kelly Petropoulos, thank you very much for your comment. The decision-making process should be transparent and take into consideration the opinions of the nearby residents. Mark Shee, thank you very much. We agree there seems to be more consultation around a stop sign and a roundabout than there is for something that really is a permanent structure. It has a 25 to 50-year lifespan. Question number 3. There are 2 locations under consideration in Barrhaven. How many other locations are there, and where are they? Is it just our community? Which we know not to be true. Which locations have been removed from the list? Alta Vista, Orleans? And now I'll ask another speaker to come up, so bear with me for a second while I bring up my list. Mary?
Hello everybody, my name is Thierry and I moved here in Barrhaven
Louder,
about
louder.
11 years ago. And how did I hear about this? Just by driving, and I saw tractors working here, cleaning, and then I decided to find out what is going on in my neighborhood.
Right here. A little closer, Siri. Here, you talk, I'll hold the mic.
Okay, thanks. So that's how I found out what is going on. And to me, that's a lack of transparency. As a resident here, I need to know what is going on in my neighborhood. That's one thing. Another thing is, after finding out that they're trying to build a tent for newcomers and asylum seekers, there is an issue. Myself, I am an immigrant, and I really believe that as Canadians, we can do better than that. Our immigrants deserve better than a tent. We can, our city, Ottawa, can do better than tents to house the immigrants. There are other options. There are buildings downtown. There are other options almost everywhere in the city. Why build a tent to house people? We need to give them more respect, more dignity, and also to house 150 people just in this area. Another problem is that we just don't have enough social services to support that influx of people. There is just not enough services. As it is, for ourselves right now, we just don't have enough. So the city needs to rethink, and we definitely have some, they just need to, we can just talk, and we definitely have some options. There are many options out there. They just need to take a look and rethink what is going on here. It's just not right.
Thank you very much, Thierry. Thank you very much. Thank you, Thierry. This is what this is about. It's all of us. It's neighbors having conversations about what's happening in our neighborhood from all walks of life and from all stages. So I thank Thierry very much for his bravery in coming up to speak in front of his neighbors and his peers. I do a lot of speaking. I tell you, the butterflies I have speaking in front of all of you today, I haven't experienced since high school. You're my peers, you're my neighbors, and I can't tell you how much more important that is than any of the other conversations that I've had. In Barrhaven, everything that I have in my life and all of the goodness that has come has happened while I'm in Barrhaven. My business, my building, my home, my beautiful wife from Barrhaven, my two beautiful children, my schooling, my friends, my family, my colleagues, my volunteers, the board that I'm honored to serve. I could never have ever dreamed of a neighborhood with so much community, so much continuity, and so much togetherness. And today is such an example of that, and I am just so very proud to be called from Barrhaven. So let's get to some more questions. Thank you very much. The city is conducting a thorough evaluation to identify the most suitable locations for the newcomer reception center, which, by the way, the city seemed to change the name from the Sprung shelter for asylum seekers and refugees this week to a newcomer reception center. So we appreciate that. We like the terminology. What does a thorough evaluation mean? What is the criteria in the evaluation process? Was there an official citywide consultation? When will the city be forthcoming with the plan and the process? Were other built forms that would provide more dignity to those living there considered? Some more comments from people on the petition, which is, I believe, over 7,000 now in almost 2 weeks. It's a huge testament to your engagement at the lack of information. And the problem when there's a lack of information, it creates disinformation. It creates people coming up with their own narrative and their own things. And Councillor Hill addressed that, and we agree. That's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. So more information, we're deserving of it. They're not our parents, they're not our dad. They do not need to safeguard the data, they need to share it with us. Okay? So, city planners need to start learning how to plan and stop doing things ad hoc. This is another band-aid solution being forced on the population without a clear long-term plan that has been developed. Another well-thought-out solution must be found, because this temporary tent will become a blight on Barrhaven for years to come. This part of town cannot cope with the additional strain of its infrastructure. Dave, as a retired CAF officer, you above all should understand the importance and value of detailed planning. And I think David does for sure. I am opposed to these structures being set up. Oh, sorry, that was by Yuri Sikitz. I'm opposed to these structures being set up in a community where there's so many infrastructure and road issues. With the communities growing at the pace that they are, why are we not using permanent empty government buildings? Michelle Barnaby. So on that note, let me tell you a little bit about what we've been doing. So the bar.
Why Barrhaven?
Pardon me?
You know, it's a city problem. Why they choose Barrhaven?
Because, but you know, we have to remember though that we are the city. We are part of the city, and we all have a responsibility to help out. It's a matter of capacity, right? And that's the issue. So I want to assure you that the Barrhaven BIA and others in the community have been proposing and making suggestions to city staff, to Wilson and to David, who have been bringing that back to City Hall and bringing that back to the city officials and the city staff. We've suggested uplands, where there's all those federal buildings right at the airport when they arrive.
Yeah!
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Wow, what a crowd. I didn't expect this today. You know, I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of friends and a lot of neighbors. You know, I've got my family here as well with my wife and two young kids. You know, I live right on this street, you know, and I'm an immigrant. I'm a son of an immigrant, right? And if I look further back in my progeny, you know, my ancestors were always immigrants, you know. This country was built on the backs of immigrants. You know, we are all immigrants here, unless we're natives, right? So this is not about refugees and immigrants versus the city, right? We're not against refugees coming here. We're a welcoming community. But what we're against is the poor treatment of these people. We can't treat them like this and expect them to integrate into our societies and become productive members of our society. It's been mentioned a couple times already, but you know, we're a winter city, right? We can't house them in tents, especially something that's going to be here for the next 50 years, you know? Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Lack of planning on the city's part is not an emergency on ours. We don't have to accept this solution. So I say to Mayor Sutcliffe, no tent in Barrhaven, no tent anywhere. No tent anywhere. That was point number one. Point number two is that our neighborhood here has a beautiful aesthetics. It's built on homes and families. Tent does not mesh into that aesthetics. We need something better here. We need more resources for these people. So if we are to accept and welcome refugees, we need services, right? A lot of people have already talked about this, that we're lacking services in this community. So if you're gonna bring refugees and gonna house them here in permanent structures, then you have to bring in social services, mental health services, find them jobs, right? We're not just taking them in and not have any services. This is gonna wreck our societies, wreck our communities and neighborhoods. And that's all I had. Thank you very much for showing up today.
Azir, thank you so very much. This week, with the involvement of the community, it's been such a rewarding experience, to say the least. Azir and I have had multiple conversations, competent, wonderful conversations, open and honest conversations. And I'm very, very grateful for his contribution, his time, and his loyalty to Barrhaven. Azir, thank you very much, my friend. So I told you about that famous Sandy lady. She's here. Sandy, Sandy, could you please say a few words? Sandy has been one of the organizers of the Brass Group, as I was explaining to you, Barrhaven residents against Sprung shelters. Oh, you found it? Okay, never mind. Here we go, Sandy.
Hi. Hi, everyone, every neighborhood. My name is Sandy Wan. I live in Hyper Park Drive here. I'm an immigrant from China. I'm a mom. 10 years ago, my whole family moved from Montreal. We live here. We choose Barrhaven because Barrhaven is a safety, is a multicultural, wonderful neighborhood. Sadly, 1 week ago, I got a message from my Chinese friend. That moment I got this information, I was very shocked. Same time, immediately, I visited around 300 my family, my neighbors, door to door. 90% of our neighbors, they don't have any idea about this information. They don't know anything about it. Same, they were very shocked. 85% of our neighborhood beside the Hyper Park Drive, they are immigrants from different countries. Like me, I'm an immigrant from China. We are immigrants. We understand the situation. We would like to help the immigrants, help all of the refugees. But we found that this is the wrong place. If I have family come from the other country to Canada, I don't want my family live in a tent. Actually, the government, from the federal government, provincial government, and the city, the government, they had a lot of empty buildings which surrounded a lot of public service. Why the government don't use those buildings instead of set up a tent? I just want to share the information that I collect from my neighborhood. Because 80%, actually more than 80% of our neighborhood are immigrants. We just thought this is discrimination from our government to our neighborhood. This project, they call transparency, or in planning, in process, in budget, in finance. We need the government to explain everything to us. We need to know. We pay a lot of tax. We are hard workers. Everybody contribute a lot for beautiful neighborhood, beautiful Canada. So we need to know where our tax goes well. Thank you everyone for coming support us. This is for protect our neighborhood, protect our children, protect every families. I think we need to do more action against this project. Thank you.
Sandy, thank you so much for your passion and your commitment to Barrhaven and all the hard work you've done. Thank you, Sandy. Next, I'd like to call up Heather. Heather's not very good at talking, and she doesn't have a lot of opinions on things. So I would suggest you all buckle up. Here we go.
Hello, Barrhaven. My name is Heather Tessier, and I've been a proud resident of Barrhaven for 28 years. And I'm here today to address a pressing concern regarding the proposed Sprung shelter coming into our community. First and foremost, I must express my disappointment in the lack of communication from our city mayor and local councils. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that we have not been provided with the information regarding this important issue. In fact, I watched the news last night, and I saw that David Hill himself appeared on CTV News stating that no decision has been made, no location has been confirmed, and that this is all simply speculation. Well, David, as our councillor, it's your responsibility to demand transparency and provide us with the details we deserve. Barrhaven, did you know that the subject of the Sprung shelters was talked about at City Hall last October and November 2023? Did you know that? No! I wonder who did. Having worked in politics for many years, both on Parliament Hill and at City Hall, I can confidently say that something is amiss here. The citizens of Barrhaven deserve to know the truth and hold our elected officials accountable for their actions. It's okay to clap, it's all right. It's time for transparency and accountability in our community. Let us stand together and demand the answers we deserve. Remember this: they win when divided. We win when we're united. Now remember, Barrhaven, when I first moved to Barrhaven, I think there was like 20,000. Now we're 104,000. And you know what we are? We are Barrhaven strong. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Okay, we got to hold the mic closer so you can all hear. I'd like to call up Kyla now. Kyla is one of Barrhaven moms, and she's got a few things to add and to share in terms of her community and whatnot. So Kyla, thank you so much for coming up. Come on up.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight, and thank you to Jason and all of the organizers. We're really grateful that we've stepped up as a community. I've lived in Barrhaven almost my whole life. We moved here when I was 3 years old, almost 4. And since that time, I've been a proud member of the community. But over the past few years, I've noticed that things have changed. We've had massive expansion. We've had an explosion of new residents into the area, but our resources and our infrastructure is not keeping up. And for this reason, we are saying no to the Sprung shelters. We're saying no to the tents. Don't have the resources to accommodate, and we don't have the resources to give support. And although the city continues to collect more tax from our area, our needs as a community continue to be disregarded. Our bus routes to downtown have declined. We have a lot of complexity in the different routes that we have, and we're being largely cut out by the LRT expansion as it gets focused in other areas. We don't have a hospital, we don't have an urgent care clinic, and we don't have mental health facilities. And it's nearly impossible to find a family doctor. And I don't know if you've also noticed, but the 2 blood labs that we have are 2 of the busiest in the city. Yeah. These are just a few examples of how Barrhaven is largely under-equipped to provide any type of support to this tent shelter and to those that would be residents. And we've seen the municipal government consistently make reactive, short-sighted decisions and not look at long-term consequences. Trying to solve a housing crisis with tents in our climate is just wrong. provided no transparency, and as far as we are concerned as residents, we've been left asking why the proposal that was made by the Royal Canadian Legion to buy this property or to have an urgent care clinic put in with partnership by the Ottawa Queensway Carleton Hospital has not happened. These are things that we desperately need as a community. So to those city councillors from other parts of the city that want to shame us for saying no, we respond that each part of the city is uniquely different and a one-size-fits-all strategy does not work. Barrhaven has not grown to support the needs of its residents, let alone support this project. So I ask you to stand with me, and we will continue to fight to say no to the tents and ask that our needs as Barrhaven be met. Thank you, everybody.
So a few more questions. Were the other built forms? Were other built forms that would provide more dignity to those living there considered? What supports will be included in the wraparound services that they speak of when this structure is installed or built? What will happen with the shelter once the numbers of asylum seekers stabilizes and there's no need for it as a newcomer reception center? The city report states that the sites could be used and will be used for similar social services. And just last week they did say that the shelter would be used as a homeless shelter or a spillover. So we recognize that there's issues. We recognize that we have a homeless problem, as all cities do, as all countries do. We recognize that we need to address this. But moving that problem from one neighborhood to another neighborhood is not in the best interest of anybody in the city. Moving that problem or moving that concern to Barrhaven without any of the supports or public transportation. There's no public transit here, none whatsoever. So I'll do one last one, a couple of quotes again from the petition. Did the city even talk to the community before they made the decision? Do you think this is right? QE. I'm strongly opposed to the proposal to build the Sprung structure, Sprung City for housing asylum seekers and the homeless in Barrhaven. This suburb is not equipped to handle such an establishment. Please seek consultation with the community before finalizing any decision on this. Arup. Barrhaven, and especially this area, is a fast-growing residential area with new families and a lot with their new homes. Why do we pick a location that people are building their families and giving us just extra stress and worries when we're so overwhelmed with the infrastructure right now? We want to continue to love this place. Michelle Young. Councillor Lowe, if you wouldn't mind joining us. Councillor Lowe has been phenomenal. I'm a little bit biased. He's my councillor. So come on up. Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you. David and I get confused often. We look exactly alike.
We all look the same in Barrhaven, don't we?
Well, if the downtown folks will say so. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. I'll say something I said on Saturday and on Sunday. You hear all the honking. You see all the people around you. This is the level of support we have in our community. It's always difficult to engage the suburbs. It's always difficult to get everyone in the suburbs together. We are busy people. We have work. We have families. But look at everybody that's here, right? There's a sign that's right in front of me that says, "Politicians, you were elected to represent us." I get paid, this is public knowledge, I get paid $111,000 a year to represent this community. And I will not let this community be host to a structure that is wholly inappropriate to host people. This is not appropriate for Barrhaven. It's not appropriate for Ottawa. We treat, when people come to Canada, we treat them as our own, just as my parents were treated when they came here 33 years ago, I think. I'll ask them. This is not an argument against, this is not Barrhaven against asylum seekers. This is not us against them. This is us securing the best outcome for us, for them, for everybody involved. Barrhaven has a lot of existing support services, small-scale support services that David mentioned earlier, that are successful. that help people adjust to Canadian life in a proper, dignified way, right? You don't know they exist. That's a mark of their success. They are right beside you. Sometimes they're across you on the street. You don't know they exist. Another city in Ontario has proven that you can build a permanent structure using rapid construction technology in less than a year. That is not just construction. That is from concept to occupancy. That includes design, planning, going through all sorts of city bureaucracy, whatever in Kitchener. And now it's housing 60, I think. It's a women's shelter. It's a 60-unit women's shelter in Kitchener-Waterloo. We can do a lot better. There are options. We're not looking at Europe. That's another city in Ontario. That's Kitchener-Waterloo. So the bottom, I guess the point of my, I'm not going to drag this on, but the point of my message is this is not an appropriate structure. We have to make sure City Hall hears us, hears me, as we try to argue for something better for them and for us. So I want to thank you all for coming out here. Thanks for, If this was last week before the time change, it would have been brighter. So, thank you.
Thank you so very much, Wilson. We appreciate you, your passion, and all your hard work. So I'll just go through one last comment. The government should have a strategic planning to help these asylum seekers. Current actions taken by this government is to dump them and let them find survival tools. This generates more social issue and defeats the purpose of bringing them into Canada. Well, the reality is, though, that the federal government is providing funds, and the provincial government is providing funds, and the municipal government is providing funds. So it's really the burden and responsibility of all of us to share in this responsibility. Thank you. So now up, Jay Chanda. Jay, and I don't know if you've had I don't know if you've had the opportunity to go over to State and Maine, but it's a lovely place to have here in Barrhaven, and thank you, Jay, for bringing that here.
Thank you, Jason. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jay Chara. I'm a proud Barrhaven resident and, as Jason mentioned, a newly business owner. And thank you all for being here today and showing that your voices matter. Today we stand together to send a clear message. Barrhaven deserves responsible, transparent decision making, and we are here to defend that right. Our community has grown rapidly over the years. We've worked hard to create a vibrant, welcoming home for families, seniors, and people from all walks of life. But with that growth has come real challenges. Our schools are crowded, public transit is limited, and our social services are already stretched thin. We're not against helping those in need. Far from it. Many of us moved here for sense of belonging. I moved to Canada 27 years ago with $100 in my pocket. This is a country that we now call our home. This is a country that is here for immigrants, but we're not against it. We know how important it is to support each other, but a temporary shelter for asylum seeker set up with a minimum community input is not thoughtful or a sustainable solution. The city's proposal affects every one of us and affects asylum seekers who deserve more than just a quick fix. They need stable housing, access to social services, and a supportive community network, not a temporary shelter. If this shelter goes up here without a solid plan, it will only deepen the strains on our infrastructure and creating challenges for everyone. Our concerns are not rooted in fear, but in a desire for a real solution that works. We believe in supporting those who need help, but that support should come with resources, with planning, and with respect for all involved. We're calling our elected officials to pause and engage in a meaningful consultation. We want solutions that meet the need for both new arrivals and current residents without jeopardizing the quality of life we've all built here. Let's make our messages clear. We won't accept quick fixes that ignore our community voices. We stand for transparency, and we stand for sustainable solution, and we stand for Barrhaven. So please, sign the petition, reach out to our councillor or mayor, keep showing up. Together, we can make a difference and ensure that our community is respected, heard, and protected. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Jay. We really, really appreciate your contribution and all the things that you do in our community and are going to continue to do in our community. Next, I'd like to call up Rabbi Bloom. Rabbi?
Thank you. Dear friends, dear neighbors, as someone who's been living in Barrhaven for over 25 years, I've seen this community grow into a beautiful, thriving place where neighbors get along, where one cares for another, and where everybody feels at home. Barrhaven is special because of our shared unity, because we look beyond the differences. And we all want to preserve this type of harmony that we've enjoyed. This coming together is not about resisting change. This coming together is to make sure that the change honors what we have built for so many years, the beautiful community. There are ways to find solutions where everybody is respected, where everybody is taken into account. And therefore, what we ask is something that is very simple. It is essential for the city to engage with our community, with the local community, before making decisions that impact us directly. The people of Barrhaven deserve a voice. We need to be part of this conversation. There is a reason, there has to be a reason, and there has to be an explanation why Barrhaven was selected as the site. And we need to have that conversation. It has already been mentioned a few times tonight that Barrhaven's infrastructure is already under pressure. Our schools, resources, we don't have the transportation that is adequate to ensure that the migrants will have the services that they deserve and the services that they need. Another point that maybe has not been mentioned is that a long-term housing solution should also be explored, because temporary solutions like tents are not necessarily adequate to address the long-term benefit of the newcomers. And I'm not even talking about the safety and security of the migrants themselves, as well as the existing residents of Barrhaven. That has to be a study, there has to be a conversation that has to be had before a project such as these takes place. And this is why we're calling onto the city to closely engage with us, to listen to our concerns, and to consider alternative approaches that protects our community while at the same time helps newcomers integrate into our community. Let's work together to find solutions that respect everyone's needs so that Barrhaven can continue to flourish as the community that we're all so proud of. Thank you.
We're almost done, folks. So just a few more minutes. We're going to wrap up our speakers, but please don't forget there's some fantastic chili over there and some hot chocolate. Grab some on your way home. And again, thank you so much for coming. Is this not a cross-section of Barrhaven? Yes. Does this not show how tight we are as a community? Yeah, the mayor needs to pay attention. The city staff need to pay attention. This community matters and the people in it do. So next, I'd like everybody just to take a moment. I would like to invite the gentleman that started the Barrhaven Legion, the gentleman that has fought for our country, Major Ernie. Would you please join us? To patriot love, in all thy sons come in, with glowing hearts we see thee ride, the true North strong and free. O Canada, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God's keep our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Hello, everybody. My wife and I have lived 45 years in Barrhaven. So anyways, we formed the Legion. There was 4 of us that formed the Legion. I'm the last one that's still alive. And our Legion right now is 767 members over here. We put tens of thousands of dollars into the community. Chio, Roger Nielsen's house, and many, many others. 50,000 into the ACE program for Queensway Carlton. So in 2009, we were looking for land to buy to build a new Legion. We wanted a permanent home. And we were given this land right over here, an acre. And then the city came back and told us, after we went and did our blueprints and planning and got our lawyers involved and all that, that the land was going to be used for a station for the buses or the trains. So we lost it. And now they're putting a tent on it. So that's the story. We're still looking for it.
Oh. I didn't know if that. No, that's okay. I did it to start this whole thing off, so you're doing great. Trust me.
Test. So anyways, that's the story with this lot here. We lost it, and now it's being used for something else, and we weren't notified or anything like that. And we were going to pay the going rate for it at the time when we were going to buy it, and that was a number of years ago. It was around 210. So thank you very much, and I appreciate all your support.
Thank you, Ernie, and thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for your service to our community. I think stating tens of thousands of dollars is a bit of an understatement. You're a little too humble in terms of what the Legion has contributed. It's amazing. Hundreds of thousands is exactly it. Ernie just said it, they just recently donated $5,000 to the food cupboard. So the last person that I'm going to invite up, she struggles a lot. She's very shy. Yeah. She's not very good at articulating her words. So please be gentle with her. MPP Lisa McLeod, would you please come and say a few words?
Thank you, Jason. I am going to ask everybody to come closer. Everybody to come closer, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. I want you to show downtown City Hall and the disgraceful media that's been calling us a lot of names. I want them to look around at the united faces of Barrhaven. Now, we've got about 3,000 people here. Usually for a political rally or a rally in the community or protest, unless it's downtown at City Hall or Parliament Hill, you're only going to get a couple hundred people out. But there's so many people here today because we all chose Barrhaven as our home. We all decided that we wanted to live here. You know, my neighbor Simon is somewhere back there. There's Simon right there. He doesn't complain about my lack of putting out all my recyclables on time, but he's a good fella. But he'll tell you what our neighborhood looks like. It's a compilation of this country. In fact, when I was tourism minister, I used to say that Ottawa, indeed, Ontario was the world in one province. Because we could look after one another and learn from one another. I consider it a point of pride that I raised my daughter in Barrhaven, in Nepean, so she knew what diversity and inclusivity was by osmosis. You know, we can have differences of opinion, but this is the community that we love, that we came to. And let me tell you something, I'm on my way out. I'm not going to run again. I'm retiring.
No!
Where were you 2.5 years ago? No, just joking. I'm teasing you. But I want to say this, that all of you came today is important to me. It's important to me because about 3 weeks ago, I got a call from Jason and from Heather and from Andrea and from a few other people, and they said, this is happening and we need you to get involved. And I looked at Joe as I took the cookies out of the oven, and I said, I'd rather be baking cookies. But I was baking cookies, and I was teasing them, and I said, okay, one last go. And it's going to be the unshackled Lisa, the young Lisa, the one that had fresh ideas, a lot of ideas. Some of them weren't good, but I got to tell you, they always were part of being a part of this community. And I'm going to tell you something else. I got a lot of energy for the next few months. We fight City Hall, and we're going to fight City Hall. So, I'm going to tell you one thing, and this is why I made the comment about the media. I listened to my friend Jason today on CBC. The host coined us as racist for not wanting this tent. I hear city councilors from the other side of town, and what do they call us? NIMBYs. And I saw one government official attack one of our community associations for raising questions on this matter, and they called them toxic.
Shame on them.
They have lost the public trust of this community, and they've lost it because they've forgotten who they represent. I have never in my 20 years, both as an MPP and then working for Jan and of course Pierre, and John Baird, so that's 25 years in this community. I've never, ever seen a city government withhold critical information from its residents. And when you ask a question, rather than you get a response, you get insulted. You get insulted with those names that I just called you. Does this look like a racist crowd here? Does this look like a group of people that doesn't want more neighbors? Does this look like a toxic crowd to you? I've had the privilege of representing you for 6 terms in the Ontario legislature, and there was never a day that I didn't put Ottawa first. And I am so sad that some of our own elected representatives at City Hall have forgotten to put you all first. And so I'm going to say this one more time. If the media is paying attention, if the city councilors downtown are paying attention, stop calling my constituents names. I've got nothing to gain, but I'm nothing to lose. I am on your side. I will continue to be on your side whether I'm elected or not. And all I ask you to do in return, remember people like Ernie in the next week. The people who fought for freedoms in this country so we can assemble like we are right now. So that the differences that we have, and we most certainly do, are not celebrated, they're respected. We just want to be heard. We want our questions answered. We want a fair and transparent process, one that is unimpeachable, not criteria that changes day in and day out, and not responses that really are insulting and offensive to me as your neighbor. So ladies and gentlemen, look at these children around right now. Look at your neighbor that you're standing beside that you've never met before. And make sure when you leave here today, you remind our city government, all governments in fact, remind them of their sacred expectation that you have placed on them when they got elected. That they're your voice, not the other way around. Make sure that your neighbors know their rights. Make sure that our voices are heard. And you know what I really like about this is, sure, some people will say that I helped with a little bit. And yeah, sure I did. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I want to help you guys? But this was a grassroots response to the utter frustration of the lack of representation we're getting at City Hall. And I look forward to tomorrow for more insults coming all of our way. And I'll withstand that. And I'll tell you one thing. If there's ever a day that they start picking on you and I'm around, you let me know, because I will defend you until the day is over.
Thank you.
And the day is over. Because our neighbors made so much of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got about 3,000 people here. This is just the beginning. We're there together no matter what. We are the united faces of Barrhaven. We don't want a tent. We don't want all of the confusion that City Hall is spending our way. And I'm going to say one final thing. Wilson Lowe, thank you for standing up for us and being the lone voice at City Hall.
That's how you ride into the sunset, folks. That's how you do it. You do it on a high, supporting the people that started it all off. And Lisa's right. They've been calling me names since the beginning of July, and they can continue to call me names, because I don't care what they think, but I do care what you all think. Because you are my neighbors. You are where I do my business. You are where I'm raising my child, and you are where I'm spending the rest of my life. So I cannot thank you all enough for coming. I cannot thank Lisa enough for answering the charge to help us out, to help the Barrhaven moms, to help all of us out in terms of what we've done here today. I am so overwhelmed and proud at the turnout, and I hope you all are as well too. I hope you go back with a sense of pride for your community, because we deserve it. This is an amazing community. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And my wife is going to be absolutely stunned that we finished this on time and that I was driving it. So I'm getting bonus points tonight for sure, but please go over and enjoy the chili. Please come and speak to the speakers and thank them for putting their necks out on the line and risking their reputations here in the community. Thank you all very much. Thank you.